Hey there, everyone. A very good day. I hope you guys have practiced all the things which I have already taught. So, today we will explore a few more commands in MySQL. So, creation of tables and checking the database, changing of database, and all I have already taught in the previous tutorial. And today, with some more syntax, I would be teaching some more basic commands in MySQL. So for fetching the entire result with some condition, we use the where syntax. And the syntax is basically like select, then star button. If you want to fetch the entire result, so we would have to use the star, and then from we have to put the table name, then we have to put where syntax, the keyword, and then we have to write the condition followed by a semicolon. So as the screenshot shows here, we have written the code as select star from employee, which is the name of our table which we had created, then where last name is equal to Yadav within quotations, as because the data type is of varchar, followed by a semicolon. The moment we do that and hit the entire enter button, so the entire records are being shown where where the condition is being satisfied. That is, the condition over here which we have put is Yadav. So you guys can see here all the records with the last name Yadav are shown here as the employee ID 3, first name Yadav, first name Kanha, last name Yadav. Again, employee ID 4, first name Kanha and with the surname Yadav. And again with employee ID 5, first name Madhav and last name Yadav. Let us now check a few more variations. If we want to fetch some result column wise and with some conditions attached to it, we would see the syntax for the same. The syntax goes in the same way. So, but instead of the star, we would put the column name. So the syntax is select, then we have to put the column name, then from we have to put the table name, then the condition comes with the where keyword, then we put the condition as per the requirement followed by a semicolon. Then once we hit the enter button, the following result pops up. So here we have shown in the screenshot, select first name from the table employee where last name is equal to Kumar within quotations followed by a semicolon. Now as soon as we hit the enter button, it shows first name and where the last name was Kumar. Let us move on to some of the basic operators which we use in MySQL. Let us first understand what the operators exactly are. The operators are basically the keywords which are used to perform arithmetical, logical, as well as comparison purposes operations. So first let's learn some of the very basic operators which we use in MySQL. They are and, or, and not operators. We will explore them one by one. Let's first start off with the AND operator. So the AND operator is basically used to show the records if the conditions which are separated by AND are true. The syntax for the same is select column names from the table name where the condition 1 and condition 2 they are met. And we can put as many as conditions as we want followed by a semicolon. So I have put, as you can see, the dots here. So as the screenshot shows, we have written the command here as select first name from employee where last name is equal to Yadav and employee ID is equal to 5. Here we have used two conditions. So we have used the AND operator because we want both of the conditions to get satisfied. Only then the result should be shown. So as per our conditions, here the result is first name Madhav, whose last name is Yadav and whose employee ID is 4 respectively. Now let's move on to the OR operator. OR operator is used to show the records if any of the conditions which are separated by the OR keyword are true. The syntax for the same is select column names from the table name where condition 1 or condition true or as many conditions as we need to put, followed by a semicolon, and then hit the enter button. Now, as all of you can see from the screen, here we have run the code as select first name from employee where last name is equal to Kumar or employee ID is equal to 5. That means either of the conditions, if met, the result would pop up. So according to that, the last name Kumar or employee ID 5, the first name is shown as Ravi, Avi and Madhav. Let's move on to the NOT operator now. NOT operator is used to show the records if the conditions are not true. The syntax for the same is select column names from table name where not. Mind this very clearly. Keep this in your mind. The syntax is where not where. It should be the not keyword followed by the where syntax, and then only you put the condition followed by a semicolon and then hit the enter button. So as you can see from the screenshot which is given here, we have written select first name from employee where not employee ID is equal to 3, followed by a semicolon and then hit the enter button. So here the list of the names where the employee ID is not equal to 3 is shown. That is Ravi, Avi, Krishna and Madhav. There were 5 records as far as we had created the table, and so 4 records are shown because we do not want the record whose employee ID is 3. So we have omitted the record from there, not from the table but from the result, and only 4 results are being shown here. So guys, do you have any query? And for any further concerns or any questions, you guys can also contact us to the list which has been provided here, be it the website or the phone number or via email. Now what we would do today again is that we would start doing the practicals as well. So what I would do is I would open the MySQL console. I have hit my star button. Then I'm typing here MySQL. See here it is showing MySQL 5.6 command line client. I will just click there. Now it's asking for password. I would put the password here. And hit enter. Now see, I have entered there. Now from the very beginning, which I have taught yesterday as well in our previous tutorials, I would start showing you guys the very same commands in this console. So let's just check once. We had started with the databases and how to change the databases. So first we will write the command show databases. So we would write down here show databases followed by semicolon, hit enter. Now here you guys can see the list of databases which are present. Now again when we go back, see here, just to change the directory, just to change the database, we have to use the syntax use. Now suppose we want to change the database to suppose Parvatic. Now I have written the the keyword use, and I would write here forward tick. Make sure guys that there is no spelling mistake, else there would be an error in the result. So I have used the keyword use and written the database name wherever I want to move, followed by the semicolon, hit enter. Here it shows database changed. Now we would do the practical of how to create the table in MySQL. The command is create table, table names, column names along with the data types. So we would do the very same here. We would do here, right here first, the syntax create table. Then what was that? The table name as shown here. As you guys can see here, table name we have to put after this very keywords, the syntax create table. So I would put here as employee. I have written an incorrect spelling. EMPLOYEE. What was after that? Then we have to put the column names along with data types within brackets. So now the bracket sign comes. Suppose I want my first column to be employee ID. So I would write here employee ID, and suppose I want to make it a varchar because it can be alphanumeric as well, not always. Sometimes it can be integer if it's like purely numerical in number, but sometimes if it's alphanumeric, then of course we have to, it's better to use the data type varchar. So I am putting here the length as 10 comma. Again for other columns I am putting here, suppose the first name, then the data type varchar. I'm putting here the length as 50 because the length might vary. So, and the third column I'm making it as last name followed by the data type and the length of the data type. Again I'm putting here 50. Now see, we had started the bracket here. So according to it, again one more bracket. So the bracket is now closed here, followed by a semicolon, enter. What it shows now here, see, query okay, 0 rows affected. Now if you want to know if the table, like what is the structure of the table, so we have this command desc, which I had already taught in the previous tutorial. So we would write here desc and the table name. See here, desc table name. So what is our table name which we have created just now? It is employee, EMPLOYEE, followed by a semicolon, hit enter. See here it is showing field, which is nothing but the column names, so field and the type. It is varchar, and it is also showing the length which we have passed. For employee ID it's 10, and for first name and last name it's 50. But as of now, as we have not at all entered any of the records there, so the values are being shown as null. They do not have any value in it. So now we would learn how to enter the records. The command what is shown here is insert into, then the table name, then the values within the bracket. So we would start, we would write here insert into table name. Here as it is given here, table name. What is the name of our table? It's employee. Now we have to write values. It is again one more keyword, values within bracket. See here, I have put a bracket there. We have to fill in within the bracket and in proper chronology. So what is the chronology here? First, employee ID. Within quotations, I am giving the employee ID as 1, closing the quotation, comma. Again, I am entering the first name now. Remember very clearly, keep this in mind that we have to follow the chronology. So now I would be putting in the first name here within quotations. Suppose it is Avi. Quotation close, followed by a comma, and again within quotations, what will come now? The last name. Suppose I am keeping it as Sen. Close the quotation, close the bracket, put a comma, start the second record. The second row, I mean to say. One and the same. So again within quotations, I'm putting here 2, comma, within quotations, the first name of the second record. Suppose we give it here Ravi, quotations close, comma, again within quotations, we have to write another surname. Suppose what? We would write here Roy. Close, bracket close, comma, again bracket. Let us just put 5 of the records at least, which would be beneficial for us for the next commands to run it. Else it, with a very less number of records, it would be very difficult to show all the syntaxes which I have already taught. So let it be 3 within quotations, of course, comma, first name, let it be Shashi, Shashi, quotations close, and then again within quotations, let it be Sen. Okay, quotations close, close the bracket, put a comma, start a bracket again, within quotations, employee ID 4, comma, first name, uh, let it be Dalia, comma, within quotations, again let it be Sinha, quotations close, bracket close, comma, one more, within quotations, employee ID, comma, for within quotations, first name, let it be Rima, quotations close, after a comma, within quotations, write the last name, put it as any of the surnames you want. I'm putting here as Roy, bracket close, followed by a semicolon, hit the enter. There it's showing an error. I'll just check. Insert into employee values. One. So here I have put a comma by mistake. So I have to remove it, but because see, when you read the error message, see here it is showing here, there. So we have to write this again. There cannot be any comma after this. We have to take our cursor there. Can you guys spot the error here? See, by mistake I had put a comma there. So just delete the comma. I hope it would work now. Put a semicolon, enter. See, now the error has been removed. See, it is showing here. Now, in order to check the contents of the table, what we had learned, the syntax is select. We would go back and check again. Yes, see, to fetch all the records, we had learned the select syntax. So we would write here select star. See here also, to fetch all the records, we use the star. So select star from what? From the table. So we will write from the table name. What is the name of our table? Employee. Put a semicolon, hit the enter button. See, now whatever the records we have put, it has come as employee ID 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, first name and last name. It is showing here now. Now let's move on to the customization. Suppose we want to fetch the column wise records which we have already learned. What is the syntax? select the column name from the table name. So here we would do that. Select, suppose we want to get the records of the column first name. So I would write here first name. From where? From the table. Where is the name of our table? That is employee. So select first name from the table name employee, put a semicolon, hit the enter button. See here, you guys can see it is showing here first name column. Now, to fetch the distinct records, what is the syntax we had learned yesterday? It's select distinct, and it goes as select distinct column name from the table name. So we would just put it here. Make sure, guys, there is no spelling mistake. So select distinct column name. See, column name here we have put it here. So suppose I want the distinct surnames, I mean the distinct last names, because here you can see there are 2 times Roy's, 2 times Sen's, but what I want is the distinct value of the last name. So I am choosing here select distinct last name column. From where? From the table name. Which name? What is the name of the table? That is employee. See, table name. So followed by the semicolon, hit enter. See, now the duplicates have been removed and it is showing only the unique records, Sen, Roy and Sinha. Now let us move on to the next syntax which we have learned today. So I would just close this very presentation and I'll open the one which we learned today. For the practical, we will start now. Now see, fetching the entire result with some conditions, which is the where syntax. What is the condition for fetching the entire result? We have already taught it should be star for the entire records. So now here we will do that. Select star from the table name with the where condition. So let's try that here. I have written here select. Now what? Star. Because we want to fetch all the records as per the condition. Okay. So select star from what? From the table name. So from, what is our table name? Employee. Now there has to be a condition. So the syntax, the keyword is where. Now we would put a condition. Okay. So suppose here we would put here where last name is equal to, within quotations, suppose I want to check for Roy. Okay. How many records are there with the last name Roy? Followed by a semicolon, hit enter. Now I would show you guys. See, with the last name Roy, there are only 2 records, Ravi and Rima, with the first name and their employee IDs being 2 and 5 respectively. Now we would also see how to fetch the column wise result. So for that, what is the syntax? Select column name from the table name with the where condition. We would do that right now. Select column name. Okay. So here we would write here, suppose first name. From where? From the table employee. Then what is the keyword? Where. Okay. Where the last name is Kumar. We have already seen here for Roy. Let's check where the last name here is Sen, equals to Sen within quotations followed by the semicolon. Always remember, when there is the data type of varchar, it should be within the quotations. Hit the enter button. How many records? 2. And what are the records in that very particular column? That is Avi and Shashi. Now we would check some of the basic operators which we have taught just now. Let us start with the AND operator. I hope you guys already remember that with AND operator, both the conditions or whatever number of conditions have been given have to be satisfied, have to hold true. So we would write here select, what is the syntax? Column name, then from table. I hope as of now, by far you have already understood, you have already memorized this very syntax, whatever it is. This is almost constant everywhere. Select column names from table name. So here what would we write? Select column name. Suppose we want the first name column from table name, that is employee. Now what is it? The condition. Where? How many conditions are there? As many as we want. Here we are using two conditions. So suppose we are using here where last name, okay, is equal to, let me just check the table ones. Suppose where last name is equal to sen, or yes, and see there are two records with sen, and now we want to, what we want with the employee ID 1. We do not want both the records. We want only where the last name is sen and the employee ID is 1. Then what is the first name here? Avi. So we would do that here. So we would write here where the last name is equal to sen and employee ID is equal to 1. Mind it within quotations, followed by a semicolon. Hit the enter button. See, here the result is showing as Avi. So both the conditions here, where the last name is same and the employee ID is 1, both the conditions are getting satisfied here, and only then this very record is being shown. Now we would start with the AND, with the OR operator. Suppose here we would write select. Oh, I would first show you the syntax so that it would be a brush up for you guys. So what is the syntax? Select column names from table where conditions are separated by OR keyword. So select column name. Suppose here also we want to check the first name, okay, from employee, the table name. Now the condition, so where, now the condition, suppose we would just check the table ones. Suppose we want where the last name is equal to Roy, either the last name is equal to Roy or the employee ID is equal to 4. Let's check what result. So if we put that very command, it should give all the records of Roy. So Ravi should be there, Rima should be there, and employee ID if we put 4, what is the record here? Dalia. So we should be getting, as per our code, Ravi, Dalia and Rima. So we would put here where last name is equal to Roy within quotations, or employee ID is equal to 4. Let's end this with the semicolon and hit the enter button and check what it shows. See, as we have already seen, it is showing as Ravi, Dalia and Rima. Now our last operator which we had seen, what is it? The AND operator. And what is the syntax? Select column names from table name, then where not would be the condition. Okay, so we would put here select, okay, column name. We would write here, suppose first name, okay, from where? From our table name, which is employee. Now where not, because we do not want that very condition. We would want the result, all the records to be shown where that very condition is not there. Okay, so we would write here where not, suppose last name is equal to Roy. Okay, so now what do you think, what would be the result shown here? The result would contain the records where the last name is not Roy. Now hit the enter button. Sorry, I have select first name from employee where not. Okay, here I have done the mistake. Wait, so it would be, wait a minute. Now last name is equal to, yes, now it's proper. Hit the enter button. What is happening here? Just give me a minute. What is wrong here now? Select star from employee. What's wrong here? Okay, I would just restart. Just a moment. SQL, MySQL. Yes, this is our console. Okay, so I have put it. Just a moment. So here the password I have put it. Now I would again use it as show databases. We would change the database to Parvatech, Prwatech. Make sure that the spelling is correct. Okay, so we would be checking the table which we have created. So select star from employee, which is the name of our table name. Okay, so here we have got now which operator was left? Our not operator. So what is the syntax? Select column name from the table name. We would write here select column name, suppose first name, table name from employee. Okay, where not. See here the syntax, where not, then the condition, suppose last name is equal to Roy within quotations. Quotations close. Hit the semicolon button. So see, select first name from employee where not is the syntax. Last name is Roy. Hit the enter button. See, now it has come. Omitting this very record, Ravi Roy, and what is Rima Roy. So what results are showing? Avi, Shashi, and Dalia. Okay, so this was all for today's session. If you guys have any query, you can ask, or you can also contact us from the details provided here. I hope you had a great learning. Thank you so much for your attention, guys, and have a very happy learning. Bye bye.